Hi, guys. My name is Kim,
And I'm Abby.
and we are
Calabasas.
Cultura. Happy Valentine's Day,
Happy Valentine's
Abby.
Day.
So we are recording on Valentine's Day. I'm so
Mhm.
excited. Um, the day of LOVE or whatever. Um, but yeah, we dropped our episode today, our first bonus episode, which was super exciting and super fun. So if you haven't yet checked it out, please do. It is only on Patreon. So you just find us at Catabasis Cultura 1, I believe, on Patreon. And we are right there. How is your Valentine's Day starting?
It's been good so far. It's gloomy outside, but other than that, it's been good. How's yours? You had fun
Same,
last
it's
night.
I did. Okay. So, my boyfriend and I decided not to celebrate Valentine's Day like traditionally on Valentine's Day, and instead we celebrated it yesterday by doing a paranormal investigation.
Yeah, that sounds
And
so fun.
you may have heard of it, the Kilmer Mansion in Binghamton, New York. And it was incredible. We got a lot of EVPs. Someone kept playing with my hair. We heard a
That's
lot
crazy.
of noises. It's a beautiful mansion. Just the history behind it is so rich, and inside it's gorgeous, outside it's gorgeous. But yeah, that shit was spooky. It was spooky, scary, but in a good way, and I'm excited to share some clips with you. So be on the lookout for clips on our TikTok, on our Instagram, and our YouTube as well. Yeah, we worked with a group of paranormal investigators. They're called Empirical Paranormal, and they were an incredible group of people. Made everything so seamless, so safe, so comfortable, and they
That's
knew what they
nice.
were doing. Like it was awesome. It was such a fun time, even with the spooky scary, and it was super informative on how they used
Yeah.
their mechanisms, like how they used they had the ghost box, which was really cool. I
Mm.
used some dowsing rods, and they had a whole bunch of amazing equipment, so it was really fun, and I'm excited to share more with you guys. I just didn't like that they played with my hair.
I was
I was
curious
like,
if you used dowsing rods. That's so fun.
we did some channeling,
Oh,
and the amount of accuracy from the channeling was insane. There was one point where the individual that was doing the channeling, she had on headphones and blindfolds, so she couldn't hear anything on the outside. She was solely listening to the ghost box and like deep in a meditative space.
yeah, she's doing the
And
Estes method. I want to do
yes,
that so bad.
it was incredible to see. And we were like, hey, like, if you're here with us, sing to us. And not 5 seconds later, she starts singing. And it was the
That's cool.
craziest thing ever. And so, yeah, it was so cool to see all these divination methods being used in a space like this compared to how we see it always like in the movies and in the shows, and also just like how I
Mhm.
use them. Which leads us to our episode today. Abby, what are we talking about today?
Yeah, divination tools. There's so many, like, and I feel like none are worse than the other, but some people think, Ouija boards are worse than like a pendulum or something. It's all the same, in my opinion. You just need to protect yourself by doing all of it.
I'm so biased, and I hope you change my
Yeah.
mind today.
But honestly, I mean, some people, I mean, if you think a lot of people think that a Ouija board is a lot more like energetic than just like
Yeah.
something as small as like tarot cards or something.
Yeah, I am excited, not excited for you to change my mind today. I am leaving my brain open for you, okay? So before we begin, we got to set the scene. Abby, do you have a story for us?
Yeah. I have a Ouija board story, of course. I have two, but I'm gonna read one before we say it. Um, this is from Bumble Blushy 1 year ago. It says my granddad was the most stoic, sensible man I've ever met, and he didn't have any religious or spiritual beliefs. Once he told me that when my mom and aunt were around 11 and 12, they brought a Ouija board home and started asking it questions in the living room using a glass in place of a planchette. I guess just like a piece of glass.
It
He
could be.
wasn't concerned and nothing unusual happened. Then my aunt asked if Jesus existed. And my granddad swore that the glass shot over 6 feet across the room and smashed into the wall without either my mom or aunt moving at all. He gathered up all the pieces and the board and threw them back in the field out back. Not the most eventful story, but growing up with him, I'm 100% convinced he saw exactly what he said he saw. He told me never to use one, and I followed every single piece of advice he ever gave me, so I haven't ever touched one myself. It was the only spiritual paranormal thing he ever mentioned to me until just before he died. I believe Grandpa. That's crazy.
Jeez, okay. Now
Like,
remind me
the
to never
just
ask
the
if
glass
Jesus
like, while I was
existed.
reading, I, like, kinda stopped, and I was like, "I wonder if they're talking about a shot glass." Maybe. I could see
I think
that.
so because that's usually like maybe like a shot. I
Yeah.
I think either like a shot glass or one of those like little tea light glasses.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
geez, I guess that ghost was not a fan of
yeah.
Jesus.
Shot 6 feet up in the air, and then
Yeah, it's
somebody
like
in the comments was like, "So is that a yes or a no?" Like, is Jesus existed?
I know. Can you tell me?
That's
Was
so
that
funny.
just you being like absolutely or absolutely not? Jeez, you left us in suspense. Ugh,
Yeah,
that
but the
was
glass
amazing.
shooting up 6 feet in the air, I'd be ducking.
Yeah, I would just leave. I would just be like, all right, well, burn the whole house down now. We're done. I'm done. We're done. I asked a simple question, a simple yes or no would have sufficed. That was just too much for me.
Yeah, I don't know. Hostile.
Very. It was just a question, but they probably thought it was like, I don't know. We weren't trying to change you or anything. We were just asking a question. Jeez.
Mm.
Um, I chose scrying. Um, and I'm actually really excited because I feel like this happens to a lot of people. Um, and
Yes,
it's
mine
so
is
cool
kinda
to,
creepy.
yeah, scrying. Okay. I love the idea of scrying. I am still not fully versed in it and I try to practice, but I'm too much of a punk. And this is why. It's my own bias that I'm working through. So I accidentally started scrying in my mirror by my bed, and now my reflection spooks me at night. And this is
Ugh.
from Rainbow Warrior 888 2 years ago. Okay, to preface this, I had no idea what scrying was at all. I mean, I knew about crystal balls and that kind of stuff, but I ran across a post talking about scrying, so I decided to Google it, and I instantly felt a pit in my stomach. I also know about the Troxler experiments and figured it was just my brain seeing weird stuff after staring at myself for so long. Now, to how I did this on accident. My mirror is level with my bed. When I lay on my side, I'm face to face with my reflection. First of all, babe, absolutely not. We don't do that here.
Yeah.
There have been
Mm-mm.
many nights I was tired and I just laid on my side and had the TV on in the background, so there was a flickering light behind me, similar to a candlelight. I also take
Ugh.
a while to fall asleep, right? I also take a while to fall asleep, so I was in a half sleep state, just staring at myself, kind of out of it. So now
Oh,
I have to block the
girl.
mirror because looking at my own reflection in bed at night is just straight nightmare fuel. During the day and just checking my outfits and getting ready, I'm fine. There isn't a weird feeling or anything, but at night I avoid looking at it at all costs. So if I opened up something, how do I close it? How does scrying relate if you have a bunch of people in your family who are spiritual practitioners of dream walking, speaking to past relatives, speaking with the dead, and straight voodoo? Girl, Rainbow Warrior
Lord, that's a lot.
read this and I was like, your first mistake was having an open mirror facing you in bed at night.
Yeah. And she falls asleep to watch him in the face. Oh,
And so I am a believer of mirrors being a portal. Um, and so a very big, I wouldn't say rule because I mean I have like mirrors in my room and things like that. But a very big caution when it comes to having mirrors in spaces like that or by your bed is to make sure it's locked. You always make sure you lock your mirrors just to ensure that no energy passes through it and no one can like be watching you and all those different things. So like that's the first thing. That was 100% scrying. That's scrying is
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I read that and I was like,
That is
babes.
true, though. I guess we have all done that, I feel like, in a way. Not to that extent for me, but
I was a kid when I was little. I used to try to scare myself in front of the mirror, and like I would just stare
really?
at myself in the mirror, yeah,
Oh
in the
my
bathroom for a long
god.
time. And I was, yeah, and I
Like
saw
Bloody
some things,
Mary.
and
Mm,
yeah, literally, like I've never done. I've never played Bloody
mm,
Mary. Have you ever done it,
yeah. Nothing
girl?
ever happened, though. I would just creep my own self out.
See, no, I was always too scared, so instead I would just stare at myself in the mirror and just be like,
I
until like
never did it
I would.
alone. I was too scared to do it alone, and I think you have to do it alone.
No, no, thank you. Oh, see, but see,
Mm.
I say that, but I used to stare in my mirror alone. Yeah, I used to see like, and I think that's why that's why trying to learn more about scrying because when I was younger, I would do it and I would see the craziest things. And before, like when I was a lot younger, I was a lot more open and didn't have structures in place to protect. So again, like
Yeah,
always,
like, I believe in portals, like, to an extent.
yeah,
Like, I've had a mirror facing me and, like, nothing's happened. But, like, I just feel like if you already attract, like, energy like that, I wouldn't take no chance. If people say
exactly,
that
yeah.
mirrors facing you are bad.
Yeah, I think it's really dependent on how open you are. I think it's dependent on
Yeah,
the protections you have in your home, but a
yeah.
big
Because if you
just
are, like, subconsciously, like, closed off from it, I feel like that's a protection in itself anyway.
yeah. I feel like
Like,
it's a
seriously.
mixture. I feel like it's a mixture. I feel like if your house is already cleansed and clear, I feel like there's nothing but like if you live in a haunted house, even if you are closed off, I feel like yeah, like it's a
Yeah,
portal
yeah,
because
it
the
depends.
energy is already there. And so it's always just to be on the safe side, we either lock our mirrors or our reflective surfaces or we just don't have it in a room, okay? Just no, no, thank you. So that was just a segue into divination. As always, we do our stories just as a way to set the scene, but it's never in a space of creating fear. We are learning, we're growing. Sometimes as we learn, we make some mistakes. Sometimes as we learn, things can get a little confusing. And so today we're going to talk about different divination methods, how to use them, and the history behind them, and also just like how we personally engage them in our practice because we do use some of these. Abby, take it away.
So, I guess I'll start with Ouija board since that was the story I told. Like, what is a Ouija board? Like, it's literally a board, a letter board, A through Z, 1 through 9, yes and no. That's what it is. That's literally what a Ouija board is. Kim.
What?
I'm just saying that's what a Ouija board is, Kim. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
As you're saying it, I'm like, no, it's
I
not.
feel like tarot cards are so much more like tea, like, oh my God, I'm scared, than a Ouija board because, like, people who are like stereotypical, like, scared of this shit, like, if they see the devil card pop out, they're gonna be like, oh my God. But
Yeah,
if like a Ouija board, I feel like that's so harmless. But I understand so much has like happened surrounding a Ouija board. So it's like, why? Why?
I
Like,
think it's also just like the because it
It can
started as
move
a
on its own?
game.
Yeah, maybe. Well, we're gonna talk about that. One of the first mentions of, the automatic writing method used in the Ouija board was found in China. Like, so, like, technically, that's like a form of automatic writing because it's already, like, the letters are written out. They're just, like, spelling them, but they're not, like, physically writing. But, I mean, kind of, if you think about it. Like, 'cause your hands are on the planchette. And, like, whether you're subconsciously moving it or something else is, that's automatic writing regardless. If your subconscious is moving it, I 100% believe that's still true. Because what the fuck? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. That's just how I feel. Anyway, well, it was found in China around 1100 AD. So, in historical documents of the Song dynasty, this method was known as Fuji planchette, which means planchette writing. The use of planchette writing was an ostensible means of necromancy and communion with the spirit world. Under special rituals and supervisions, it was a central part of the Kwanzaa school, if that's not how you pronounce it, correct me, until it was forbidden by the Qing dynasty. So that's kinda crazy.
Never knew that.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't know that until I looked
That
up
is
stuff about it.
insane. And yeah, you're right. It sounds like it's just channels writing.
Yeah. Spiritualists in the United States believe that the dead were able to contact the living and reportedly use a talking board very similar to the modern Ouija board at camps in Ohio during 1886 with the intent of enabling faster communication with spirits. And I was like, camps in Ohio. I was like looking up what that was, and apparently there's like a bunch of spiritual like resort camp things in Ohio, like a ton. Like, I was gonna
What is
write
it?
some
Is it like
down, but
ley
there's, like,
lines or
so
something?
many. Yeah, what'd you say?
That I was like, is it just like very energetic in there, like ley lines and stuff?
Yeah, I don't know, it's weird.
Interesting. We're gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, and it says, following its commercial patent by businessman Elijah Bond being passed on February 10th, 1891, so long ago, the Ouija board was regarded as an innocent parlor game unrelated to the occult until American spiritualist Pearl Curran popularized it as a divination tool during World War One. As a part of the spiritualist movement, mediums began to employ various means for communication with the dead. Following the American Civil War in the United States, mediums did significant business in allegedly allowing survivors to contact lost relatives. That's sad. Um, Use of talking boards was so common by 1886 that news reported the phenomenon taking over the spiritualist camps in Ohio. Once again, these camps in
Once
Ohio.
again, Ohio. Yeah.
That's interesting. The Ouija was named in 1890 in Baltimore, Maryland, by medium and spiritualist Helen Norsworthy. Um, and then Charles Kennard, the founder of Kennard Novelty Company, claims to have invented the board with his business partner Elijah Bond, who patented it with his sister-in-law. So his sister-in-law is Helen Norsworthy, the medium. So it's a bunch of businessmen with a spiritual like, man, there gotta
Interesting.
be something to it. That's a
Yeah,
little
that's
extra. I don't
interesting.
know.
I know, and a lot of like during that time period, a lot of them were like, it was usually like that. It was like a pre-scientific businesses
Yeah.
where like they were engaging in the practices first with scientists and a whole bunch of like businessmen, and
Uh-huh.
it's interesting to think about the early like
Yeah,
paranormal and spiritual occult kind of
for
vibe.
sure. For sure. That's like I feel like a bunch of businessmen use astrology for sure.
Yes, 100%. And egregores, but we can't talk about that.
The what?
I said and egregores, but I guess we can't talk
Yeah,
about
oh
that.
yeah, for sure. Seriously. Um, but it says the local patent office at first refused the patent. I guess because it was like woo woo and stuff.
Yeah.
Bonnie Norsworthy then traveled to Washington, D.C., where they also denied a patent until the chief patent officer asked the board to spell out his name, which it allegedly did. That's crazy. In 1901, an employee of Bond, William Fuld, took over the talking board production under the name Ouija. But I saw that Ouija in Egyptian means I guess it could be spelled different, but it means like good luck. But I think that's just a coincidence.
Mm,
I think it is.
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is there any other like reasoning behind the name?
No, I could not find anything.
Interesting.
Yeah. Unless it's like deep in there and I couldn't find it. If anybody
Yeah,
knows, let me know, but I could not find it.
that's so cool.
'Cause I was like, "Why is it called that?"
Yeah, even just like the way in
Yeah.
which it, unless it's one of the like you know how they do codes where like they I don't
Yeah.
anagrams or something like
Yeah, it
that,
might be
but
2 words in one, I don't know.
yeah, who knows?
That's weird.
It's popular now. Now everybody knows
Yeah.
it. So I mean, he did
Yeah.
his job.
I can't believe it's still like a board game.
You can buy it at Target.
Yeah, I think that's kind of crazy.
That's crazy.
If I was to play like a Ouija board, I don't have one personally. I mean, I want one, but I don't want the ones at Target. I want a cutesy one. But if I was to play it, I would definitely. I don't feel like there's any point in cleansing a Ouija board. Like I just don't really think. I feel like it's kind of pointless. It's gonna do what it does. Like you're kind of asking for something to happen anyway. So what's cleansing gonna do? Like you know what I'm saying? Like you can set intentions before, but I feel like cleansing is just like whatever. Like you can do it,
Yeah.
but that's on you. Like if you want to, if it makes you feel better. But I just don't think for me, I would. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pointless. But I would set intentions before. I feel like regardless, whatever's gonna come through. 'Cause, I mean, you're putting yourself out there, so whatever's
Yeah.
gonna come through is gonna come through. But as a witch, I would definitely like call up my guides to protect me. And if I wasn't, yeah, I wouldn't be doing it. Fuck that. Cause
Yeah, yeah, I
cause I
agree. I
played with
feel
the
like
Ouija board and I've had haunted experiences and I was like a Christian and I would be like, Jesus, please don't let nothing happen, bitch. Better call somebody else. Jesus busy, bitch. The only ones that ain't been busy is Hades, so
yeah,
I'm gonna ask him for a little help if I'm doing so.
yeah,
No, for real. If I'm like talking to the dead, though, I of course would want Hades around because it would be like
yeah,
another devotional act for me, but it is
yeah,
like another layer of protection. But I guess you
absolutely.
could wear any like protective symbol on you. Like if you wanted to wear a cross, you could. Some protective measure while you're doing it. Some.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And so with the ending of it, is it all the same? Like when you end a session?
Like, I would just tell it I would just talk to it like I'm talking to anything, like, if I was talking over a ghost tube or, like, literally just at the cemetery talking, I would be like, "Okay, I'm gonna leave now. Bye." Like, with the board, like, I guess I would, like, point it to bye or whatever, but, like, I feel like saying it is enough.
Yeah,
Like, they can hear you, you know?
yeah. That's good. Yeah, I've never done it. I am still stuck on the very movie centered horror movie, like, oh my gosh, you're evil and everything and monsters are gonna come out. So like, no,
Yeah.
no thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. No, never
Yeah.
mind. I'm not even gonna promise that. Mm-mm. We'll talk about it later.
Mm.
But yeah, I wanted to jump into another divination practice. So I'm transitioning into a different divination practice that you can find everywhere. You can find it on Barnes and Noble, Target. You can literally find these everywhere. Amazon, cult shops, witchy shops, spiritual shops, and it is tarot. And as a professional tarot reader, I love tarot cards. They're one of my favorites. It's one of my most comfortable types of divination that I use personally. I use it consistently in my practice. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the history before I jump into how I use them. From my research, it started in the 1430s. It most likely started, you know how it is. Most divination practices started a lot earlier, but as we started to actually put forth the effort of collecting information, it shows in the 1430s and 1450s in Italy. And it was called Tarocchi or Tarocchi. And it was pretty much just a game. It was a trick taking card. They were mostly hand painted with golds and reds, and they're stunning. So I'm probably going to pop up a picture of them. They're very beautiful cards, and it was around 50 cards in the deck or 56. Um, and they were just used as playing cards. And it wasn't until the 1770s, John Baptiste, he was considered the master cartomancer. And cartomancy is literally just using cards as a form of divination. Doesn't have to just be tarot. So Jean Baptiste, he started to use these playing cards as a form of divination. And that's when we started to see the cards really have that practice. And then we got the British shift. And so this was in 1886 to 1888. And this is where tarot started to be more introduced, or using cards as a form of divination started to be more introduced. And then in 1909 is where we get the most popular, most famous, most user friendly card deck, and that is the Rider Waite deck. And this one was created by Pamela Coleman because she was the artist. Like, I think a lot of people I hate, but again, this is how it was, and this is kind of how it still is. The biggest person that was recognized was Arthur Edward Waits and William Ryder and Son, which was the publisher. But I wanted to give such a shout out to Pamela Coleman, who was the artist, and most
Yeah.
specifically, she was the reason for the minor arcana. So
And
with
that's so
Rider Waite,
important.
right? He
Makes up
created the
most of it.
it makes up most, so it's 56 minor arcana, 22 major arcana. And so Ryder, he created the major arcana with her. He collaborated and they built this beautifully elaborate deck with all of these different meanings, all of these, like, even to the most minor detail of the colors of the things in your hands. Like, they were very, very selective in the process. And then Pamela Coleman created the minor arcana. And this is where we start to see the numerology. We start to see the different patterns in the cycle. And also the different suits. So, like wand, cup, pentacle, and sword. So that's a little bit of the history on tarot. You see tarot readers everywhere. They are everywhere, including me. And a big thing that is important with this type of divination, and I love that Abby, you started talking about it beforehand, of like, it is still connecting to like the other side. It is still connecting to these different powers and different energies.
I feel
So
like even more so, honestly, because you get a lot more of a detailed answer. I feel like
yeah,
with Ouija, like the Ouija boards, you have to be like, it takes forever to spell out one word. But
yeah,
with tarot, you can get so
it
many
flows out.
stories in like one
I agree.
card.
And so
I've
with that,
never
it's really,
even paranormal investigated with tarot cards, but I would love to.
that would be the
That'd be
coolest. Oh no, we're
fun.
gonna do that. We're doing it. We're doing it when we go to
Yeah,
New Orleans. We're doing it.
we gotta do that.
Um, but yeah, so it's like, it's very, very important to, like, for me personally, it's very important to cleanse your deck periodically. It's very
Yeah.
important to connect with your deck. It's very important to make a protective space before and after. So you can cleanse your deck with so many different things. Like, you can do smoke. If you smoke like weed and stuff, you can like inhale, blow it. If you use like just smoke, incense, fire, selenite, all these different pieces. You can do certain crystals. You can even talk to it and blow into them to clear out the deck. You knock on it to wake it up. I found, and I, so on my personal account at Divine Divination 1, quick little drop, I talk about the history of tarot. I talk about the different cards. I talk about different tarot tips to help with cleansing. And I also
You do
do collective
good.
readings on there. So if you ever want to get more information on that specifically, I have an entire collection for that. And I'm still building it. But yeah, so like, I love tarot, and the reason why I love tarot is because you can kind of do spreads. Like, there are traditional Celtic spreads, but you can also just shuffle. You can do a 3 card pull. You, as long
Mm.
as the intention is there, it is so, so versatile, which is what I love. I also
Yeah.
love that there are different types. There are like the Luna deck that I use for readings here and for my collective readings. Like, there's so many different decks that you can use, and they all have different purposes and functions. So,
Yeah.
side note, ask your deck what it wants with you. Ask your deck why it's a part of this journey with you, and you'll get some really cool answers. But yeah, that's tarot. It's a quick run through on what tarot is, where we got it from, and what you can do with it. If you want more information, you can find me, but there's also this incredible book. It is called 78 Degrees of Wisdom, and I'll pop it there as well. And it was very informative on the very specific history behind each card. But yeah, that's all for tarot.
Yeah,
Abby,
you
what's the
didn't
next one
even
you're
teach
doing?
me tarot. Like, you're so good. Yeah,
Stop.
you're a good teacher. Um, Next for me is, bone throwing or bone casting or,
Yes.
like, charm casting. Um It's a form of fortune telling, or spiritual practice in which the positions, shapes, and orientations of the bones are interpreted to gain insights into the future, answer questions, or connect with spiritual realms. Now I made my own bone throwing set, but it didn't have any bones. It was like seashells. You can literally
Yes.
make one of anything, like charms, whatever you want. And like, um, it's also known as osteomancy. But it's been practiced by various cultures like all around the world, especially in Africa, Asia, and indigenous societies. The process of throwing the bones can vary significantly between cultures, but generally the bones are thrown onto the ground or like a special mat. And the mat kinda, I think, helps maps it out even more specifically. Didn't use a map, I just, like, used wherever the charms, like, fell beside each other, I kinda, like, would divinate through that, and I did it for a couple people, and it was pretty
Yeah.
accurate. I
Yeah,
was
it was
shocked.
very cool.
And I, like, I made all the meanings and, like, wrote it all down and, like, really sat with it before, cleansed it, and told them like, what their purpose was, like, told the shells what their purpose was and the charms before I did it, and it worked. Like, you can
It's
just make it
amazing.
yourself, like, you don't have to buy one that's super expensive, but you can use bone, shells, stones, um but it's not like just a form of predicting the future. It is deeply embedded in the cultural and spiritual life of many societies. It's often seen as a way to connect with ancestors, receive guidance from spirits, or make decisions during in times of uncertainty. And that's what I did most. Um, and it also may be a part of healing rituals where divination is used to identify the root causes of illnesses or misfortunes, which I thought was interesting.
That's
I
really
feel like I
cool.
don't do that as much. I would definitely I don't know. I would like, how do you feel? I feel like there's like a level of, like, morals you would have to have. Like, before
Yeah.
you would you, like, divinate for somebody for their health? Like, what would you do?
Um, if it
Like
is something if it's something significant. So like I have had conversations regarding things like that, but only if it was like I was pushed to by spirit. So it's like
yeah.
morally and ethically that's not I don't actively do readings for health and things like that
Mm.
because it can cause like you are as a tarot reader, as a diviner, we have such responsibility as we are receiving people who are sometimes extremely in a vulnerable space
Almost.
that are looking for guidance. And so when it comes to people coming to me and asking for things like that, a lot of the times I send them to go to the doctor, to go get
Yeah.
checked up, to go do that, like go to actual healthcare professionals
Mm.
because I don't want to enable this space. I also don't want to ever impact them negatively with the information I receive. But I've only ever connected to any kind of health issues or fertility and things of that nature when we were doing a general reading and it was told to me clearly. Like it was something that was
Yeah.
extremely clear. And even that, I still sought out multiple spaces of confirmation before
Mm.
even saying anything. So
That makes
that is
sense.
a very tricky thing. And so that's also why I'm so happy that we're talking about these things because while there are amazing readers, like I can make a list of such incredible diviners and people who work with divination in a professional
Mm.
setting, there's a lot of scam artists.
Yeah.
There are
Agree.
a lot of individuals who do this more so for the money and for the
Mm.
satisfaction. And so if you are someone who seeks this out, please be sure to not only talk to this individual, like see if you could do some type of consultation, ask questions, ask lots of how long have you been doing this? Have you ever worked with anybody? What does your process look like? Like it is okay. Like you are paying for a service. It's okay to ask some questions. It's okay to check it out. It's okay to engage in discourse before you jump all in. But also trust your own intuition. Your intuition brought you to seeking guidance. Your intuition is going to tell you if the person's right for you. So let's say you're out and you see a reader, but your gut is kind of like, don't do it. You should feel completely safe, completely ready, completely open with that person. Like it's very important to be dedicated and be very clear in your intention as somebody who's getting the reading done, but
Mm.
also for readers out there, it is extremely important to make your intentions known and to give your clientele the opportunity to ask questions and have that open communication because
Yeah.
we are guiding people. That is a huge responsibility and we need to take that seriously. But yeah, I hope that answered your question. Sorry, I get so heated on that.
No,
Like,
I agree. Thank you for that. That finished it
yeah, of
up.
course.
Yeah.
Yay. So I wanted to very quickly touch base on scrying because like that's what our my story was about earlier. Like that was what the story was about. And this has been everywhere. We scry everywhere. We scry in
Yeah,
different
I
ways.
really
Like this is
do.
something that is easily accessible. You don't even really need anything. Just your brain, your eyes, and a reflective surface. So the word scry came from Old English and it is descry. So sometimes you'll hear people say that I'm descrying or I love to descry, and it's just to reveal. So all it means is revealing something
Describe.
only.
That's cool. It's like describe the
Yeah, it's like
word.
describe, it's revealing.
Mm,
And there are multiple spaces and places in time that used scrying. And it was ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, ancient Rome, Mesoamerican cultures, all of these different places. And so in Egypt, they used bowls of waters or reflection on stones to divinate. Greece and Rome, I mean, we talked about the oracles of Delphi. They had all of
mhm.
these different oracles and temples focused primarily on oracles and divination, and they would use smoke scrying as well as reflective surfaces.
That's so cool.
Medieval Europe, they also did scrying, but they called it high magic and alchemy, and they also used fire and reflective surfaces. And for Mesoamerican and Aztec spaces, it was volcanic glass,
That's
and
cool.
we got that from individuals from Mesoamerica because we updated it as an obsidian mirror. And the
Mhm.
obsidian mirror was actually used by Queen Elizabeth's first advisor in 1580. And during this time period, that's where we had the Enochian kind of spiritual practices that believed it was voices from the angels. And so there's
That's crazy.
yeah, it is insane that it was happening everywhere. And
It's like it's
everywhere
almost is it primal? Like, why are we all doing this? Is it like something that comes naturally for all of us? Like, do we
it
innately
seems like
want to
it.
scry? That's crazy.
I think so. Like even like as I said, like when I was a
Looking
kid,
at
so
the
just like stare at
clouds.
myself, staring at the clouds, staring
Yeah.
at the candle flame. Like I think it's such a natural response to look in our reflection
Yeah.
to see if we see anything, and
I feel
it's
like tea
so
leaves is even like a form of scrying. Like, I
yeah,
don't
it
even
is.
feel
It's a
like
divination
it's
tool.
separate. Like, I did a little research on tea leaves and stuff, but I feel like that's definitely scrying.
It
Like, now
is,
that
and
you
so
mention
even
it.
like wax melts, like melting wax
Yeah.
would be a considered like it is really revealing something from something else. And so like yeah, it's I just find it so freaking crazy how in all of these places that don't even touch, that don't even engage with one another, they're
Yeah.
all having a certain form of scrying. I think that's
Mhm.
so fucking cool. And it's all in the ways to connect with a higher power. And it's just
Mhm.
like you can't tell me that this is not real. Like
Yeah, we
for this
still
to be
know a little
happening
more,
everywhere.
and we still doing it.
Yeah,
Or do we
exactly.
know? Mm.
Uh,
Mm.
who knows? We know nothing but everything, but something, but nothing. But that's why we learn.
Another thing is, like, pendulums. I love pendulums. I have, like, 3 of them, and it's just, like, you can use, like, just a chain and a crystal, like, you can make your own. It just needs to be like a weighted, point or thing, like, literally, it could be anything. I've seen people take, like, their hair and string a ring, like, if they're pregnant and they wanna see if it's, like, a girl or a boy.
Yeah, I've
Like,
seen
that's
that.
crazy. Like, I don't know entirely how they do that, but I just thought that was crazy. And that's literally essentially like a pendulum. But, with those, you definitely cleanse those, like, when you get them. And, like, when you have it, you can I would set intention if you wanna talk to somebody specifically, I would set those intentions before, obviously. But if you're, like, just, like, talking to your pendulum, I would be like, "Can you show me yes or can you show me no?" I wouldn't be like, "Yes, can you go" if it's yes, can you go side to side? If it's no, can you go
Yeah.
like, just ask it what it wants to do. Most I've found that they have a mind of their own. Like, I have
Yeah, they
3
do.
different pendulums, they all go different ways, and I will
I think that's
use some
amazing
for some, guides and some I don't,
for
like
others.
yeah,
They
and,
also
like,
have boards too. They have
yeah,
like the
the
boards with
pendulum
the
mats,
yeah.
I don't have one of those, but I feel like that would help a lot too. So you don't like, if you have a shaky hand, like, you don't have to hold it, like, you could stick it in the thing. Because 'Cause I've seen the ones that are, like, they're holders and they have, like, a mat below it, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I have one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Those are cool. And, I think dowsing rods, oh my god, those are really cool. Those are, like, a lot of the times copper, and I think that's interesting because like, copper is obviously, like, a conductor. Dowsing rods were originated in ancient times, and it was treated as a form of divination from the start. Like, I thought it was them looking for water as the start of, like, the whole thing, like, water or minerals, no. It started out as, like, divination in, the ancient times. The Catholic Church banned the practice completely, though. It says that, in 1518, it listed divining for metals as an act that broke the first commandment. I thought that was kinda crazy. In 1662 yeah, in 1662, divining with rods was declared to be superstitious or rather satanic by a Jesuit, Gaspar Schott, though he later noted that he was not sure that the devil was responsible for the movement of the rod. That's so funny to me. In southern
God.
France in the 17th century, it was used to track criminals. Its abuse led to a decree of Inquisition in 1701 forbidding its employment for purposes of justice. And also, the military has occasionally resorted to dowsing techniques. Yeah, that's kinda crazy. Like, in
Interesting.
the late '60s during the Vietnam War, some US Marines used dowsing rods when locating weapons in tunnels. And in 1986, 31 soldiers were taken by an avalanche during an operation in the NATO drill Anchor Express in Norway. The Norwegian army attempted to locate soldiers buried in the avalanche using dowsing as a research method. That's kind of crazy.
That is insane.
Yeah, I've used dowsing rod, but I don't own it.
I think we're gonna use that today for our
Yeah,
reading at the end, and I'm really, really excited. So get your
yeah.
question ready, Abby. Um, so with all of
That's it
these,
for me.
so I'm gonna pick your brain, Abby. So with all of these, I wanted to talk about how we connect because I mean, like, yes, we use physical materials as almost like a conduit or
Mhm.
almost as a way to put our energy there, but it also comes from within us as well. Our connection to the energy, to divine, to what it is you believe in. So I wanted to take a little bit to talk about the eight clairs. I'm really, really excited about this. So, the history of the eight psychic senses or the eight clairs, 1784 in France, Marquis de Poussière, I believe is how you say it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he connected with Victor Race and studied his abilities. So it looks like there was an individual named Victor who had a bit more of a sensitivity to certain energies. And he was one founder of this pre-psychic program towards hypnotism. And so they started to understand and learn what these psychic senses looked like and how we connected to the other side, and how we connected to our subconscious as well. So there are eight different clairs: clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance, clairalience, clairgustiance, clairempathy, and clairtangency. And I'm going to do a
Oh.
quick rundown. Yeah, it's crazy. And so the one that we hear the most is clairvoyance, and that is clear seeing. It's seeing images and visions in our mind's eye, and it's where we get those, like, I see this, I see a picture of this, I see an apple, I see, and that is one that's most common. Clear audience is another very common one, and this is clear hearing. This is hearing messages and sounds from the other side. It could be music, it could be someone talking, all those different pieces. Clear sentience is clear feeling, and so it's sensing different energies. And it is very similar to clear empathy. but it's more based on energy than it is emotion. Claircognizance, this was the first one I ever noticed that I had before other ones began to develop. And it's clear knowing and sudden knowledge that just pops into your brain. Um, for me, that was the first thing I noticed when I started to understand more of my like energy and the way in which I see things, was claircognizance. Clear aliens, which is clear smelling, so smelling certain things. Clear empathy is clear emotions that you truly feel the emotion of a space. And clear tangency, which is clear touch or gaining insight through touch. So if we see it like in like certain movies and stuff where somebody touches someone's hand and
Yeah.
all these visions pop up, it's kind of like that. And so these are all the different ways we connect or we have our sensitivity. And there's a lot of kind of discourse surrounding if you can build a certain clair or if it's just what you're born with. Personally, I feel like you can build them because I've known that I've built a few. I feel like it's on a basis of meditation, of focus, and also
Um,
like
the
allowing
more you
yourself to
do
be
it,
open.
yeah,
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that are like, no, you're only born with a gift. And I feel like, yes, there are people out there that were born with certain gifts and certain sensitivities. But I also think that a lot of us innately close off very early, that we could be born with it and never know until we start to practice.
yeah.
But what about you, Abby? Do you feel like you have a specific clair that you work with most?
Um, I feel like it took me a long time to probably build up like my clairvoyance, like what I see in my like third eye. I feel like that's what it is the most now, but
Yeah.
it used to definitely not be. But I agree with you. Like mine started out as probably claircognizant.
Yeah.
Really?
It's
Like, I
weird.
don't have the
Yeah.
smell, I never smell anything really. I barely ever touch, like, changing temperature, yeah. Touch sometimes, it really depends. It's, like, whenever they wanna do it. And sometimes it's not clairvoyant, sometimes it's nothing, like, it just depends, honestly, on my mood.
Like I started, the first thing I noticed within myself was clear cognizance, but I would also have to say like clear audience is a big one lately, because I've been trying to get more into my meditation practices.
Yeah,
Clear sentience and clairvoyance. Those were the two that it took a lot for me, like clairvoyance especially. It took a lot for me. And it wasn't until like one day I was like, you know what? Like I need like show me this message, like show me. And then that made me almost shit my pants. And so then I was like, okay. And so it really is based on practicing and pushing your energy and like making sure you're grounded. And I think we also forget that too of like you have to have one foot on the ground as you float into the air. You have to have that balance of
yeah,
the two so that you know that the information you're getting is as accurate as it can be. But yeah, like that is different divinations. There's so many more. So for those of
yeah,
you who use other types of divination or use these and want to share more insight, comment on any of our posts. We are everywhere. We are on YouTube, we are on Patreon, we are on TikTok, we are on Instagram. You can also email us at carabasescultura@gmail.com.
yeah,
Or you can join us in any of those other spaces at Carabases Cultura. Um, do you want to do some divination, Abby?
yeah, I gotta think of what I
Yeah.
wanna ask.
Okay, I'm gonna get some dowsing rods.
Oh, I know what I'm gonna
Okay, so for those of you who have never seen dowsing rods for our YouTube and Patreon, these are dowsing rods, and they're literally just copper, almost like sticks that you hold and they move. And like you see, they just move. And so for me, it's really important to cleanse your space, protect your space, only allow positive energy in here, filled with love, light, peace, and prosperity. Um, and I always like to, before I begin any session with a dowsing rod, I always like to ensure that I understand my yes and my no's. Sometimes it switches for people. For me, yeses are usually crossed and no's are usually separated. I also like to ask silly questions in the beginning to ensure that I'm connected and I'm focused and
ask.
ready as well. Okay. So you're gonna hear me ask some silly questions.
I have a
One
couple
moment.
questions
Oh, I'm
actually.
so excited. What is yes? Okay. What is no? Okay. So for those of you that are just listening, um, the rods showed me that yes is when it's open and separated, and no one is when it's crossed. Okay. And so I'm going to ask a scaly question just to make sure that we're calibrated and connected in the way that we need to. Okay. Is it sunny outside? So that is a yes, it is sunny outside. Am I recording with Abby? Am I recording with Abby? Yes, I'm recording with Abby. Okay. Abby, what is your question?
That's hilarious. Does Hades and Persephone want me to make a strawberry cake today?
Girl, you should already know the answer to that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. I don't think
Or
strawberry.
wonder if
I don't
one of
think
them wants
strawberry.
someone.
Yeah. What about chocolate? Does Hades and Persephone want Abby to make a chocolate cake today? Yeah, they want a chocolate
Right.
cake. They don't want strawberry, babe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I have another question.
Okay, what is your question?
I have a this or that though, so how should we word it?
Okay, so if it is a this or that, we can do directions. So
Yeah.
for any questions that are involving like I want to do like choices, I just ask them of like this choice is left and this choice is right. Um
Let's do it for you.
yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
Do they
So you tell me.
I wanna say, do they want um like dark liquor, like whiskey, or do they want pomegranate juice?
Ooh, okay. So liquor for left, pomegranate juice for right. Which ones would you guys like for an offering from Abby? Which one would you guys
I wonder if they're both different.
like? Give me the liquor.
Yeah, they both said it.
They were like, nah, give me
I
some
never
dark
given them
liquor.
that, and I was just like, you know what? Maybe see,
Let's
there
try
we
it.
go.
Yeah,
Claircognizance, a thought just
clear
pops into my head.
cognizance. Exactly. I love dowsing rods. I don't use them as often, but
I need to get me some.
they're incredible. All right, so that is our dowsing rod reading for the day. Thank you guys so much for listening. Again, like, share, comment, have your friends join, have your family join. Let this be a space of community so we can all learn together.
Yeah.
Abby, have a good day, honey. I'll talk
You
to you later.
too. Bye.
I am Kim,
And I'm Abby.
and this is
Calabasas.
Cultura. Have a great day,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.